Hi guys, welcome to Soulful Sunday. This is a different kind of a talk, I suppose, because I've been so much affected by it myself. And it's a difficult one for me, and it may be a difficult one for you to hear. And the talk, it's a request that I've had, so I was honoured to be asked to do this. But by God, when I was going over it, it brought back some bad memories for me. So it's not an easy one, but it's a very, very essential one. And it's one that we may not even be aware that we're living in, you know, until we hear it spoken out, or whatever way it comes to our knowledge. It'll come slowly. And what I'm talking about today is coercive control. And I have stuff written down because I needed to remind myself. There's so much in this, and I may not get it covered all today because I don't want to go on too long about it. But I may, have to continue it again maybe next Sunday, or see what the response is from today, and if you're interested in hearing the rest. So I'm going to tell you a little story about a frog and how frogs relate to hot situations, we'll call them. So if you get a frog and you put it into boiling water, it will literally jump out of the water because it's too hot, can't stick it. But if you put a frog into cool water and slowly raise the temperature, what happens is the frog will adjust to the temperature, and it will literally boil to death because it'll be simmering away for ages. That is a definition that I have and I've used for coercive control because I've experienced it myself. Sorry. And it wasn't something that just happened overnight. It wasn't all of a sudden. It was a very, very, very slow, subtle thing. And that's what happens with coercive control. It's sudden. It's not sudden, sorry. It suddenly dawns on us. Something's wrong here, but we can't put a finger on it because there's nothing definite. But what it is a series of little things that then we see a pattern. So I just want to read you out the definition from the dictionary on coercive control, okay? So, coercive control is not necessarily physical, and that's the truth, because coercive control is a mind game. They play with your mind and they make you doubt your sanity. They doubt yourself, and you end up then you're dependent on them for practically everything if it goes on long enough. So it says it's an act or a pattern of acts, threats, humiliation, intimidation that is used to harm, punish and frighten your victim, to isolate you. The kind of people that usually do this coercive control, there can be a bit of narcissism in them, but they're generally very angry people, they're very insecure people, and they need to have power over people. And if you know the definition of a healthy relationship, it's interpersonal relationship. It's not power under, power over. It's equal power, interpersonal. You know, nobody has power over anybody else. But in these kind of relationships, it's very different. And I didn't even realise I was in it for years. So one of the things about coercive control is that you're constantly being asked, you okay? Is there something wrong with you? What's your problem? Every time I come in here, you have a face on you. Can't come in here and just relax and etc., etc. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? It's all the time. And you know yourself there's nothing wrong. But then you start to think, Jeannie Mac, is there something wrong with me? And you wonder, and they are trying to make up situations so they can start to antagonise you, basically. Do you know? So that's one of the things. Are you okay? And this will happen a lot. They will keep saying, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And they can even then turn it around and be charming and say, are you all right? Do you need anything? Can I help you? Do you need anything? What can I do for you? It can be huggy. They can be all this kind of stuff. So it's confusing because some of them manifests in being very charming. Everybody loves them, lovely person. And in my experience, people did think he was a lovely guy, do you know? And it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all, you know. So the next one I have then is that in a conversation, they twist what you say. So no matter what you say, they twist it and they turn it round to their own advantage. And then they say to you, well, you said it, it was your decision. And it wasn't your decision at all. You didn't say what they are telling you that they say. The idea behind that is for you to think, am I losing my mind? What is it? I don't remember saying that, but you question yourself. That's another thing that you do. You question yourself. And also, they try to isolate you. If you're going out with your friends or whatever, they will put on the victim face and say, oh, would you not just stay here with me? Sure, we could do things together and it'd be nice for us to have time together. We never get time together. It's not that important that you go out with them. Sure, you see them every day. You can go another time. There's loads of stuff like this. It's all very, very subtle. Another one is money. And in my experience of the money one, it was I had to account every single week for what I spent. I had to have it written down, everything. And I remember in particular one time that I put my kids on the rides. You know, the rides that you see in the town centres, the shopping centres, and mine particular one was in the town centre. And it was 20p at the time. And I went home and I was writing out everything that I spent, and I couldn't account for this 20p. It was actually 40p because I'd put the two kids on them. You would have no idea what I went through in my head to try and account for that 40p. I was in a knot before he came home because I knew I had to account for that. Eventually I could remember, thank God, and that saved me on that day. But I had to do that every day, every week, sorry. Another thing was I was on a very strict budget, and if I needed anything, like, you know, weeks that you need extra bleach or washing powder or nappies or whatever it is, life happens. I had to beg for that money. I had to beg for the extra and really, really need it. Another thing that was difficult to get was for female products, when you needed extra, because I suffered a lot in that area. And I always needed a little bit of extra things, and that was difficult to get the money out of for that, because it was all control, power to keep me in my place and to keep me stuck and keep me dependent on him, which was a huge one, you know, to keep me dependent on him. So they are some of the symptoms of coercive control, and this is a quite deep one, and I don't want to do a long session on it just for one day, but I will continue next week. If you think that this is good, you know, because the coercive control can come with verbal abuse as well. Rarely will it come to physical, but it can develop to physical and sexual, and they're other stories, you know. So these are deep things, and if you just would put comments in, we need to put this out for, there's a lot of us that have suffered, there's a lot of us that is suffering, and maybe not even aware of it, but when you look at something like this, or you'll go, Jeannie Mac, yes, now I know what it's about. So there's a lot of that going on, and as always, I'm here, you know, I'm here. So that's it for Soulful Sunday. It's very deep, I understand that, but please take care of yourself till the next time, and take care of each other if you know there's someone else suffering. So that's it for today. Take it on board. You may know somebody that would need to see this, or pop a comment down if you want me to go on and continue with more signs of coercive abuse. Thanks for watching for today, folks.